Now we're going to do our assignment number 2, which is house 2, and with this assignment you're actually going to be building another house, but this time it's a little more complex. And your rubric for this assignment is basically this picture, which is also in your work instructions. And your rubric is making sure that your house is going to look just like this picture. So basically whatever doesn't look like this picture, if your textures are off, if your windows are not the same, if your shrubs are not the same, then your points will get taken off. So for example, if you have a different window here, you'll have points taken off. If you don't have the same door, you'll get points taken off. If you don't have the right dimensions for your house, you'll get points taken off. So essentially, yes, this picture is your rubric for this assignment. And I'm going to walk you through it on how to do it exactly like this. So then at the end of this assignment, your house will look just like this. So the first thing we need to do is open SketchUp. So go ahead and open Google SketchUp. And just like in the first assignment, what we're going to do is we're going to take the origin, we're going to zoom out, and we're going to put the origin here in the lower left-hand corner. So orbit around, pan, put that origin kind of over here in the lower left-hand corner because we're going to need space to work so that we've got plenty of room to build the foundation or build that. There's actually 2 rectangles for this house. So the first thing I'm going to do is the first rectangle for this house is actually a 20-foot by 10-foot rectangle. And I'm going to show you how we can get Google SketchUp to draw. We're going to draw the rectangle, but we can tell Google SketchUp what the dimensions of the rectangle need to be. So I'm going to click on the rectangle tool, and there again, start at the origin and draw a rectangle. And it doesn't matter how big or how small. I'm going to exaggerate this rectangle. So I'm going to draw the rectangle, and then I'm not going to click anywhere else. This is very important. Don't click anywhere else. Don't click in the dimensions box. Don't click anywhere else. And then go to your keyboard, and this is what you're going to type. Watch my dimensions box. Type it exactly like this. Since this is a 20-foot by 10-foot rectangle, okay, remember the 20 is going to be this dimension here. The first dimension is always going to be the dimension. I'm going to call it the X dimension here. So it's going to be X and then Y. So 20 is this dimension here. So type on your keyboard 20. Now we're talking feet, and the symbol for feet is the apostrophe, and if you're not sure where that is on the keyboard, it's right next to the enter button. So 20 apostrophe comma 10 for 10 apostrophe, and then hit enter, and then voila, you've got a 20-foot by 10-foot rectangle. There again, the feet designation is the apostrophe, which is it's the button right next to the enter button. So that's our first rectangle. Our second rectangle is going to be right on top of it right here, and it's going to be a 35-foot by 15-foot rectangle. So I click on my rectangle button, start right here. There again, it doesn't matter how big or how small it is, because once I draw it, remember I don't click on anything, and I go to my keyboard, and it's 35 by 15. So I type 35 apostrophe comma 15 apostrophe enter. Boom, there we go. There's our second rectangle. So our house is L-shaped. If we go back, we see it's L-shaped here. So what I need to do is I need to get rid of this line. So I click on my eraser tool, get rid of that line. Okay, now we have our foundation here, our L shape. So the next thing we need to do is give it a height. So this is where we use our push-pull tool. So we go up, click on our push-pull tool, and the height of the house needs to be 12 feet. So just like with the rectangle, I can tell Google SketchUp how high I want it. So I can just go ahead and bring it up, doesn't matter how high. Okay, bring it up. And then don't click on anything else, and then go to my keyboard, type in 12 apostrophe for feet, enter. Now I have a height of 12 feet. Next thing I need to do is we need a roof pitch, but this time we're doing things a little bit differently than we did in the first assignment. Instead of drawing a triangle and using push-pull, we're actually going to pull up with just the center or the peak of the roof. So we're going to draw a line at the midpoint of each one of the boxes. So I'm going to orbit around a little bit, and I'm going to click on my line tool, and I've got to find the midpoint of this area here. So here's my midpoint, and I'm going to draw a line, okay, here. Make sure it's red so it's parallel to the x-axis, and then I've got to find the midpoint of this box here. There's my midpoint, and make sure the line is green. Okay, now what we need to do is we only need this part of the line. We only need the L. So we click on the eraser tool and we get rid of these two. Okay, so once we have the center part of that L, what we need to do is we're actually going to pull up that part, or that part of the L. So what we're going to do is we need to click on the pointer tool, and then selecting one of the lines, okay, I'm going to select this one right here. And I know it's selected because it's blue, but I need to hold Control so I can select the other line, just like you would do if you were selecting different files within Windows Explorer. So I'm going to hold down Control, okay, see the little plus sign every time I hold down Control, and then I'm going to click this line here. So now I've got both of them selected because it's blue. And then I'm actually going to orbit around here so I can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to click on the Move tool. And then what I'm actually going to do is come over here to about the end point. I like to grab it from the center because that's going to give me the best movement. Grab it from the center, watch my length box, and this one doesn't have to be exact. This one we have a little more leeway. But I'm going to grab it and go up close to about 6 feet. So let's grab it. See how now I have a pitch to my roof? So let's get it close to 6 feet. So here I've got about 6 feet, 4 3/8 inches. All right, that's good enough for me. Okay. All right. So now let's orbit around to this side here. And I need to zoom in because now we're going to work on the eaves of the house. If you're not sure what the eaves of the house are, they are the areas that stick out a little bit from the house. And if you look, these are the eaves right here, these white areas. The eaves, those are the eaves.